Professor Phatak, Anand Kumar ji, Colonel Sharma ji, Mr. Ramchandra ji, and fellow parents, alums, students, pleasure to be here. I'd like to share a small story with you. And Professor Phatak brought up Mohnish Pabrai, and I think at one of the IIT convocation ceremonies he said this story, and I think it always resonated with me. And many of you, I think, have heard this from me before. Please bear with me. So, Manohar said that there was a small village in Maharashtra which produced amazing mangoes, incredible mangoes, some of the best mangoes in the world. And these mangoes were very highly priced, and they were exported all over the country and all over the world. And the village was doing well, but they had a policy that the absolutely very best mangoes were not sent out of the village. They were given to the children of the village to be eaten by the children. And this practice continued for a while, and the village continued to produce amazing mangoes. And people who used to eat these mangoes from various places used to come to the village, and they found out that the really best mangoes are not going out of the village. So they met the villagers and they insisted that they will pay any price, but they want the very best mangoes. And the villagers agreed. And after that, the children were no longer getting the best mangoes. The best mangoes were sent out to the people who wanted to pay that high price. And after a few years, the village no longer produced great mangoes. The quality of the mangoes went down. So, why did the quality of the mangoes go down? You can just raise your hand. Yeah.
Because they don't know the sweet of the mango. If they don't know, then they will produce.
Okay, very good. Thank you. And are you from farming background?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, so what he said is that when the very best mangoes stayed in the village, the seed from those mangoes used to get planted, and therefore the best mangoes continued to be produced. But when the best seeds left the village, gradually the quality went down. And the villagers had forgotten why they kept the best mangoes. And all of you are from various districts and states in India, and you are actually the very best mangoes that have been produced in those districts and in those villages. And you have left those villages and those districts. And of course you have the IITs, and the odds are very low that you will end up going back and spending most of your life in the districts and villages that you come from. And I don't blame you for that, because there's not that much opportunity in the places you have come from, and of course you'll end up making a life somewhere else. But it is very important to remember that those places will not do well if the best mangoes just forget about them and move on. So what I would suggest to you is that when Dakshana first started in 2007, I had a very stupid idea, and thankfully in about a few years I realized that this is a stupid idea, and I abandoned that idea. And the stupid idea I had was that we suggested to the scholars in 2007 who came to us that when they finished from IIT and they were doing well and they had good jobs, that on a voluntary basis, if they wanted to, they could choose to give 10% of their income to Dakshana. And that way we could support more scholars in the future. And I realized that that was a stupid thing to say, because I always wanted Dakshana's giving to be without any strings attached. I wanted the giving to be selfless giving. And the second thing I realized is that the point in time and the place in the station in life you're at, it would take a long time before many of the needs of your community and family and so on are satisfied and such, and you can start looking beyond that. And so very quickly, I think within a year or two, Dakshana, we removed all that language from all our materials. And we've never mentioned, in fact the scholars that are here today will know that we have never mentioned anywhere that there should be any such type of even voluntary suggestion. But I would still lean on you and say that in your villages and in your districts and in your GNVs, you have a responsibility. And you can do many things in those places, and many of those things require no money. You could motivate a child. You could go to your village and help them understand the path and the importance of science and math and where that will lead to. Give them some counseling. After you graduate and have a good job, you may paint a classroom in your village. You could provide some new desks. You could arrange tutoring. There are many, many different ways. You could do things in healthcare, in sanitation, and many other areas. The choice is, there's the types of things you decide to do is up to you. But even the smallest thing that you do, what I have realized, which I never thought would happen with Dakshana, has a massive payback. A payback that you can't get any other way. And in the end, we're all dead, and in the end, we don't take anything with us. So that is my suggestion to you, is that look at the place which raised that great mango and try to think about how it can continue to raise great mangoes. The second thought I just wanted to share with you is at Dakshana, I've always taken an approach that if you want to change the world, and if you want to improve the world, and if you want to make a difference, you have to be willing to take high risks, very high risks, and you have to take an approach that you're willing to fail, and you may lose everything that all the time, money, and efforts expended, and so right from the time I formed Dakshana with Harina, I took the approach that any time we would put into it, any money we would put into it, any effort we would put into it, could be for nothing. And that was fine with us. So we were very willing to go down that path. And we did go down the path, and we've repeatedly taken bold bets, and many times we failed. In fact, for example, the first batch of 2007 that we took on, they're probably as smart as you are. And I think in that year we only got 15 or 20% of the students into IIT, because there were a lot of problems and issues we had. And we failed, quite frankly, we just didn't deliver for them. But I've always felt that the idea is you keep trying to do things a little bit better than the way you did in the past. And we have recently taken another risky move, which we don't have any history with having success with. We bought this 109-acre piece of property, and we are going to convert it into, right now they're farming mangoes and potatoes and all kinds of wonderful fruits, and I hope that continues, but in the future we want to raise engineers from that valley, thousands of engineers. And there are many aspects of it that have a lot of risk. So for example, one area of risk that we have to do construction, we have to get a lot of permits, a lot of permissions from the government, and Dakshana will never pay even 1 rupee of bribe to anyone. And I don't know at what point we hit a point where we get blocked. And no matter how much we get blocked, we will not change our principles. So we have risks when we do that. And I understand that we can fail, and I'm very willing for us to fail. But if you look at the other side, which is what happens if we succeed. Ananda Valley, in a few years, has the capacity to easily allow us to coach 1,000, even 2,000 kids a year. It's a large number. And if you're able to identify the right kids and provide the coaching that they need, there's a good chance that 1 in 10 IITians may be from Dakshana. And that would be quite a stunning achievement if you ever get there. And if you think about 1,000 or 1,500 engineers coming out of IIT who are from Dakshana every year, and that goes on for a few decades, 20, 30 years, you would end up with, I don't know, more than 30,000 engineers from IIT coming from Dakshana. And with that larger pool, we are almost guaranteed to have Nobel Prize winners. We are guaranteed to have tremendous IAS officers and leaders. We're guaranteed to have leaders in almost every walk of life, in almost every corner of the globe, come out of that pool. And I do not have the skills, and I will never have the skills to help someone get a Nobel Prize. But this system with all the different pieces that go into it can deliver that. And that I find quite magical. And so these are, I think, some of the exciting things about Dakshana. We will continue to hopefully take 2 steps forward, even though we take 1 step back. And very grateful for all the efforts. The team at Dakshana, Colonel Sharma and Sharmila, and the various faculty members and mentors and staff, they really do all the work. And my deal with them is they do the work and I take the bows. And everyone is happy with that arrangement. And so I'm very grateful to them for all the work that they do. And I think you have a great set of opportunities ahead of you, and I hope you make the most of it. But I also hope you don't forget the story about the mangoes, and you try to make sure that your village always produces tremendous mangoes. So thank you.